So the new chapter has begun in Dragon Ball Super, the manga, and of course what we now have is a playing field in Universe 7 that involves a group of mortals who are in the realm of Gods of Destruction level tier of power. And of course in chapter 101 it became abundantly clear to any of the Beerus deniers out there that Goku hadn't surpassed Beerus, the God of Destruction of Universe 7, as of this new arc, even with True Ultra Instinct post Superhero. And of course we had the Jump magazine article, and you can question the source, sure, but it does state that Black Frieza, who one-shotted Gas, True Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, he still isn't at Beerus' level according to this Jump article. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are not at the levels of the other Gods of Destructions. Of course, that very Jump article itself states that Goku and Vegeta, with their Ultra forms, have reached the realm of the gods, and it may not even necessarily be that they had to reach their ultra levels to actually get there. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I have been preaching for a long time that all of the God of Destructions are not at the same level. They may be able to use hacks techniques that can affect each other, as we saw in the God of Destruction Battle Royale, but what we ultimately saw in that Battle Royale was the fact that Beerus and Catella were the expected two last remaining members, and Beerus was attacked by all 11 Gods of Destructions to begin with. A long-standing, underappreciated feat, and pretty impressive in my book. Of course, Catella is portrayed as his rival, or Catella beats Beerus in an arm wrestle, so based on strength feats you could argue that Catella is rivaling Beerus, if not surpassed him, in terms of raw power. Raw strength doesn't necessarily equate to battle power. Been through that on this channel before. As people who have been following my channel a while know, that will be supported in the super exciting guides. And of course, if you haven't been following me for a while, this is the chance now. Subscribe. I do have all the guides, so I can cross-reference all of the new information with the guides from Dragon Ball Z and a long history of analysing Dragon Ball to reach further conclusions in the future and make predictions. It does aid me in that way. But back to the main point. Beerus and Catella, cat and mouse, even though Beerus calls him a rat, are the two leading Gods of Destructions, at least based on what we know and based on their performances in that particular tournament. If we look at Belmod, he is a rival to Jiren. Obviously Jiren surpassed him in raw power, but Topo does state that it's in combat power and combat abilities alone that Jiren surpassed him, so that provides us with a condition. So there may be something that Belmod has that could make him compete with the likes of Jiren, or even maybe even far stronger gods, because hacks can work against stronger characters, especially if you catch them off guard. But what about all the gods in between? I've often referred to the God of Destruction realm tier of power as a league table. Whilst Beerus and Catella are at the top, Belmod, as much as a lot of people don't like to admit it, but I think people are more open to the idea now, in terms of raw power at least, is likely close to the bottom of that table. Now, I'm not even saying it's at the bottom. You must remember that Ivan, the God of Destruction of Universe 1, stated that God Goku vs Topo in the Zeno exhibition match was at the level of as Gods of Destructions. Was that him stating that those two with those forms have entered the God of Destruction realm of power? Now, it would add to the credence of Beerus being mightily impressed by Super Saiyan God Goku way back in Battle of Gods. And I know a lot of people won't like that, because a lot of people think there's a fast power creep happening in base forms for these characters in Dragon Ball Super. But for those who believe in the slower power creep, this makes a lot of sense. Now, I want to do more about this slow power creep versus fast power creep in the future on this channel, so I will get into it more. I think they're two very interesting theories that need to be delved into deeper, but there's a lot of people now starting to come over to the side of the slow power creep. And guys, that doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you have perfectly reasonable arguments of why you believe the opposite. I'm not diametrically opposed to that opposite answer either. I'm not diametrically for either, to be brutally honest, but I do find it a very interesting discussion and dialectic, and that's why I need you to comment down in the section below. Anyway, I'm taking a long time to get to the God of Destruction. That is actually the main topic of this video. The God of Destruction, and we really want to look at, and what I want your answers down below for, is Champa, the God of Destruction of Universe 6, Beerus' brother. Now, what do we know about Champa? Well, when he first arrived on the scene, way back in the end of Battle of Gods, obviously he was looking for the Super Dragon Balls, and then when he arrives on Beerus' planet, in chapter 5 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, Vados clearly states that he's not stronger than Beerus. Goku asks the question, who's stronger out of you and Beerus? Vados says basically, look at the state of him, he's out of shape, he isn't stronger. Champa doesn't deny it, then Beerus enters and it moves on. Of course, we find out that they had a fight once, based on food, and it nearly ended the two universes. Beerus doesn't look particularly stressed during that battle, at least not comparably to what we saw in the God of Destruction Battle Royale at the end, where he clearly looked blooded, cut, and was about to fight off against Kitella. Now guys, I think just on a side note, it's really important to note that Beerus' injuries didn't actually come from Kitella. There is another God of Destruction, possibly more, that was able to do that significant damage to him. We must remember it's a battle royale, not a one-on-one fight where they're both aware of each other attacking, so there may have been some surprise attacks, and catching characters off guard in Dragon Ball, a weaker character can cause significant damage to even a stronger character. But Beerus is injured and it's another God of Destruction, not Kitella. Was it Champa? Well, what do we know about Champa in that Battle Royale? Well, quite frankly, at the beginning of the tournament, Champa was one of the Gods of Destructions attacking his own brother alongside 10 other Gods of Destructions. But eventually, he got finessed by Beerus' semi-UI, whatever you want to call it, and then used as bait after Beerus got caught by Moscow and tossed into the air so that all the other Gods of Destruction thought it was him and they attacked him, and then Beerus attacked them with a big energy blast, in which he was one of the gods being stated to have to be saved by Sidra's barrier. Now Sidra's barrier is likely a hacks in terms of his abilities, but that's a topic for another day because it's just a hack. But Sidra is important because Sidra actually gets cheap-shotted straight after that by the clown god Ronald McDonald Belmod. However, even during this attack, though Belmod goes on to state that this is a free-for-all and we should all attack each other, Belmod does not KO Sidra. Now, Sidra has a bad reputation based on the anime adaptation of Dragon Ball Super because he comes across not particularly a good God of Destruction or good at his job, and he also gives some power to some character that eventually goes and tries to kill Golden Frieza and base Goku with Hakai, and Beerus just blows it off. Obviously, that portrays him as very weak in the anime, but that is the Toei anime. In the manga, Sidra's actually portrayed much better. Now, Sidra, despite not getting KO'd by Belmod, is in a hand-to-hand combat with Champa near the end of that battle royale and is KO'd by Champa. So Champa was able to do, without even catching him off guard or using a cheap shot, what Belmod was not able to do, using a surprise attack, catching Sidra off guard. And of course, just to backtrack a little bit, during that fight that we saw as a flashback between him and Beerus might not have been struggling, but you could argue that Champa had the confidence to attack Beerus and was somewhat keeping up with him. So is he that far behind? And did Vados, when she made those comments in Chapter 5, was she really referring to the fact that if he did keep in shape, in terms of raw power, he would be able to compete with Beerus, but it's his training, his lack of training, and that has caused him to fall behind Beerus? Possibly. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. Still, he knocks Sidra out. We don't actually get to see who knocks Champa out though, but obviously by the end of the tournament somebody has. It's likely either Beerus, Kitella, possibly Rumshi. And the last person Kitella takes out is Ivan, the God of Destruction of Universe 1. But remember, I have just talked about how he basically stated God Goku was on the level of his gods. So could that mean he's referring to another god, or is he referring to himself? Or did he just get to that late in the tournament by chance? Regardless, he seems to have lasted longer than Champa. However, like I said, Champa did KO Sidra in face-to-face combat, so it is a more impressive feat than say what Belmod did, where he cheap-shotted Sidra from behind and still failed to KO him. So Champa is definitely in the top half of the Gods of Destructions in terms of battle power, at least that's what I would deduct. So the question is, has Universe 7's warriors, the warriors that I talked about earlier that are all on that playing field? Now obviously these characters do vary in terms of their power, some are stronger than others, but they are all in that God of Destruction realm of power. Let's just go through them quickly. Goku and Vegeta, clearly stated to be in the God of Destruction realm of power, both clearly stronger than Belmod, the God of Destruction of Universe 11, as of a post-superhero arc. Then of course there's characters that scale to them. Orange Piccolo, if we go by movie statements, Orange Piccolo seems to narratively be on the level of Goku and Vegeta. Maybe that will change in the manga, but let's face it, they didn't change that much with their adaptation, so I can't see it. Gohan Beast is being portrayed at that level, if not stronger than Goku and Vegeta of the time. Once again, we'll see and find out more about that, but I think you can definitely put him in the realm of Gods of Destructions. Broly, of course, the movie Broly was compared to Beerus. Whether that still holds up is a big debate at the moment, or whether it's a current hypothetical Broly. I think you can definitely state a current hypothetical Broly is in that playing field, possibly even at the top of it based on Toriyama comments referring to him being the only one that could beat a complete Cell Max. Then of course there's the likes of Granola you could potentially take into account, possibly the likes of Gamma 1, Beerus potentially, and of course the main one right now is Black Frieza. He is definitely stronger than Goku and Vegeta, and even the Jump article states that he's close to the God of Destruction, likely referring to Beerus. So what I think you can say about these characters right now, even though Beerus is still stronger than them, in terms of raw power they are somewhat approaching Beerus's level, and I think the fact that Beerus stated to Goku, once you surpass me, in the most recent chapter, that was an inference to, look, I'm the goalpost still, but you're getting close. Or I guess you could say it is reachable and attainable within your lifespan, and obviously Saiyans don't live too long. And obviously at least Frieza and possibly a few more are even stronger than them in terms of raw power, so they would be even closer. I think Beerus has a lot of other godly techniques that would be taken into account, and he seems to have perfected a Kai and semi or Ultra Instinct, but I think there'll be more that we learn of throughout this series. But obviously they're not quite at Beerus's level, and based on that Battle Royale they're not quite on Catella's level, but are they on the likes of say Champa or Rumshi's level? That is the main question. And now Champa is a character who has played a big part in the series. Rumshi's kind of a side character really. I hope we get to see more about the Gods of Destruction soon, but Champa obviously is Beerus's brother. He is a major player in the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 arc, and he has close ties to Universe 7. Hopefully we get to see the legendary assassin hit again as well, because I think that would be interesting to see how far he's come. But given that Beerus is stronger than Champa and he is stronger than the Universe 7 warriors, but we know these Universe 7 warriors are to some varying degrees approaching the level of Beerus's raw power at least. Are they at the level of Champa, if not surpassed him? That's the question I put to you. And of course, maybe Champa has some hacks abilities himself. Maybe he has some sort of semi-UI himself, or a certain level of perfected Hakai himself. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about this scenario. Have the Universe 7 warriors surpassed Champa? If only a few of them have, let me know which ones you think have surpassed Champa, and I look forward to reading them. And guys, please do, if you enjoy Dragon Ball content, smash a like on the video. It really does help the channel, and I really appreciate all your continued support. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Click all notifications on. Guys, that makes a big difference to you being notified. YouTube doesn't always notify people when I release my content. Until next time, Ad Astra.